Hello and welcome to all the students of Europe Hotel School. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm here to share some key insights from my years working in modern hospitality operations. Today we're going to dive deep into one of the most crucial skills you will ever develop in this industry, really mastering the art of handling objections. First things first, we have to start with a huge shift in perspective. In high-value hospitality sales, we're talking about booking a major conference or a big corporate account. Your clients are making some really carefully considered decisions. So, when you hear a no or any kind of objection, I want you to stop thinking of it as a rejection. It's not. It's actually an invitation to have a much deeper, more meaningful conversation. It's the real starting point for building a great partnership.
So let's get right into that core mindset. The very first step is to completely reframe what an objection actually is.
I love this quote because it completely flips the script on what feels like a negative experience, right? When a client brings up a concern, what it really means is that they're actively thinking about your proposal. They're weighing the pros and cons, they're comparing options, they're genuinely trying to see if it's the right fit. Honestly, a silent client is way more concerning. They're the ones who are more likely to just disappear. An objecting client, that's someone who is engaged in the process with you. And this right here, this breaks it down perfectly. An objection isn't hostility. So often, it's just a request for reassurance. Your client needs to feel safe and confident about their decision. It's not a personal rejection of you or your hotel or your team. It's simply a search for a little more clarity. And, most importantly, it is not the end of the discussion. It's a critical moment where you have a real opportunity to step up and build trust.
So, how do you navigate that moment? How do you handle it? Well, it doesn't start with talking. It starts with the most powerful and probably most underestimated tool you have, listening.
The instinct for so many of us is to just jump in and start solving the problem right away. But if you do that, it can make the client feel like you haven't really heard them. So the first step is the simplest. Just pause. Let them say everything they need to say without jumping in. This creates the space for a real dialogue. Second, you have to listen for the cues, not just the words, but the tone. Are they frustrated or are they just being cautious? And finally, you have to acknowledge what they said. A simple, I understand your concern about that, can completely change the entire dynamic of the conversation. Okay, so when you listen like that, when you're really actively listening, you earn the right to go deeper. You can start to move past that initial objection and begin to uncover the core concern, what's really on their mind. For example, a client might say, the price is too high. That's the surface objection. It's simple, it's easy to say. But if you listen and then ask some thoughtful questions, you might uncover the core objection, which is something like, I'm not sure this investment is going to deliver the return on investment my boss is demanding. See the difference? Just addressing the price will never solve the real problem. You have to address that deeper concern about value and results. This is the question that should always be in the back of your mind. You need to start thinking less like a salesperson and more like a consultant. Your goal isn't just to have a quick response ready, it's to truly understand. You can gently probe with questions that get right to the heart of their priorities and the pressures they're under. And that consultant mindset, well, it leads us right into the next major shift. Modern, effective hospitality sales isn't about those old-school persuasion tactics anymore. It's about genuine collaboration. Just look at the contrast on this slide. The old way, it was all about winning the argument, overcoming the resistance. But the modern approach is about understanding the client's actual need and building a real partnership. You're not trying to push some one-size-fits-all solution. You're working together to find that perfect alignment between what you offer and what they truly need to be successful. And at the end of the day, most objections really just boil down to a question of value. Think about it. Clients almost never object to a price when they are completely convinced that your solution will solve a major problem for them, whether that's guaranteeing a flawless event, boosting their team's morale, or impressing their own clients. When that value is crystal clear, the price just becomes a secondary detail. This brings us to our final and honestly the most critical element in this entire process, building the trust that gives a client the confidence they need to move forward with you. Trust is like the invisible currency in every single sales conversation. It's built on these 4 pillars. Be transparent. Be honest about what you can and can't do. Be patient. Respect their timeline, not just yours. Always, always remain professional, especially when you're being challenged. And finally, be consistent. Your actions have to back up every single word you say. And please remember this, clients are watching you. They're watching how you behave when you're under pressure. Your calm, confident, and respectful handling of their concerns is a powerful signal. It tells them that you're going to be just as reliable and just as professional to work with long after the contract is signed. It's a preview of the partnership they can expect.
So this is the choice you have every single time you face an objection. Are you going to see it as a roadblock or as a real opportunity? It's a moment where you can either create a confrontation or you can build a partnership. By choosing to listen, to collaborate, and to build trust, you can transform every single objection into a chance to create a stronger, more lasting, and more valuable relationship.